12 R&B and soul singers, all of them gifted, all of them putting something into the music that the world sang along to without understanding what it was costing them. This video isn't just about tragedy, it's about what the industry did and didn't do when brilliant people were falling apart. Some of these artists survived, some didn't, and every story on this list is going to stay with you. Number 12, Weldon Irvine. Number 11, Simone Battle. She was 25 years old, and she was right there. Simone Battle was part of GRL, the group assembled by Robin Antin, the woman behind the Pussycat Dolls. They had collaborated with Pitbull. They were about to score their first major UK chart hit with Ugly Heart. If you'd looked at Simone Battle's career in the summer of 2014, it looked like the beginning of something real and sustained. Everything pointed forward. On September 5, 2014, she was found in her West Hollywood home. She was 25. Her father told reporters he had seen no signs of depression. And that's the line I keep coming back to, because it doesn't always show. The financial pressure that reportedly surrounded her in those final months, the gap between what it looks like to be a rising pop star and what that life actually costs,
but this much is true, this little heart and brain of mine say we're through,
was real and invisible, and apparently, in the end, unsurvivable. Here is what the music industry does not publicize.
A boy so pretty with.
There is a version of this business where you have a Pitbull collaboration, a charting single in the UK, and a deal with major management, and you still cannot make rent.
Maybe you'll get married and she will kiss your feet.
The machinery of perceived success can exist simultaneously with genuine financial collapse. And when the image you're expected to project is thriving, the distance between that performance and the truth becomes a place you carry completely alone. Nobody on the outside of Simone Battle's life knew where she actually was. That's the part that stays with me. Not a cry for help nobody answered. A person suffering in a silence so complete that even the people who loved her couldn't locate it. She was 25. The music was just starting. Real talk. Only 9% of you are subscribed. That hurts. We're spending hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life. And if you're watching this far, you clearly care. So hit subscribe. It's free and takes 2 seconds. Now, to my subscribers, barely any of you have joined the membership. And honestly, that stings even more. You know the work we put in. You keep coming back. If these videos have ever made you feel something, if this music means something to you, join the membership. It's $1 coffee a month, and it's the only way we keep this going. Let's build this together. All right, back to it. Number 10, Fantasia Barrino.
Catch the shooting star.
In 2004, she won American Idol Season 3 with a voice that made everyone watching feel like they were witnessing something rare. Fantasia Barrino went from the finale straight into a recording session. Debut album, I Believe, at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Grammy nomination within the year. The pace was relentless from the moment she won. The machine moved immediately. And from the outside, it looked like exactly what a winner's life is supposed to look like. In August of 2010,
Fantasia was rushed to the hospital after overdosing on aspirin and a prescribed medication. Her family confirmed she had been going through an extraordinarily difficult period, and Fantasia herself, in the interviews that followed over the next several years, was consistent in what she said about that time. She was exhausted. She was carrying things nobody had asked about. She was running on performance and pain, and she had lost track of which one was actually keeping her upright. And she used a word that's going to hit differently if you've been listening carefully to this video. She said she was tired. Not physically, the kind of tired that doesn't resolve with sleep. The kind that builds up over years of being asked to perform strength you don't actually feel, for people who never think to ask whether you have it. But here is what distinguishes Fantasia's story. She did not go quiet afterward. She came back and talked about it. In interviews that took genuine courage, she put it into the music. She said the experience forced her to understand the difference between who she actually was and the version of herself she had been performing. And that distinction, once she finally saw it, became something worth fighting for. She's still here, the music is still coming, and that is not nothing. Number 9. Tamar Braxton. She grew up in a singing family that already had a star, spent years in the background of her older sister's career. And when her own spotlight finally came, the solo music, the reality show, the personality that could fill any room she walked into, it looked from the outside like everything was finally aligning the way it was supposed to. On July 16, 2020, Tamar Braxton was found unresponsive in her room at the Ritz-Carlton in Los Angeles. She was there to film a WeTV reality series. She was rushed to the hospital. She later confirmed, in her own words, that she had tried to end her life. And what she said about why, I think about it regularly. She described feeling like she had stopped existing as a person and become a mechanism. That her story, her pain, the childhood trauma she had never intended to share publicly, had been used without her consent because it drove ratings. She wrote in a letter to the network before her hospitalization that she felt she was living solely for the benefit of a corporation, and that it was witnessing what she called the slow death of the woman she had become that took away her will to fight. She survived. She has spoken openly and honestly about mental health in ways that have reached people who desperately needed to hear it. And if anything in this video is landing somewhere closer to home than you expected, please know that 988 is the suicide and crisis lifeline in the United States. Call or text 988. It is in the description, and it is there for you. But Tamar Braxton came very close to not being here, and the machine that nearly took her didn't stop. It barely paused. Number 8, James Carr. We have to pay for James Carr, Memphis. Gold Wax Records, 1967. On the street, you and me. The Dark End of the Street. It is a song about forbidden love, meeting in shadows, knowing the ending before it starts. And the way James Carr sang it, not like someone performing anguish, but like someone standing inside it, is still considered by serious soul collectors to be among the greatest vocal performances ever committed to tape. Not great for an R&B record, great, period. In the same conversation as anything ever recorded in any genre. Aretha Franklin covered it. Linda Ronstadt covered it. Percy Sledge sang it. The Commitments put it in their film. Every version is reaching for where James Carr already was.
They're gonna find us.
He had bipolar disorder. And in 1966 and 1967, the illness was in a window. The music was coming out pure.
The love we stole.
His debut hit, You Got My Mind Messed Up, reached number 7 on the R&B chart. The Dark End of the Street followed at number 10. He had everything lined up, and then gradually the window closed. By 1979, the illness had taken over to the degree that Carr stood motionless at a microphone in Tokyo in front of a sold-out audience, unable to sing. He had taken too many antidepressants.
Strong, so why don't you and me still wait?
He just stood there. The crowd waited. He stood there. Eventually, someone helped him off stage. After that, years in and out of institutions, living with family.
At the dark end.
A brief, remarkable comeback in the early 1990s that proved the voice hadn't gone anywhere. It was just trapped behind everything his mind was doing to him.
On the street, you and me.
And then lung cancer took him on January 7th, 2001. He was 58 years old. I'd argue, and I feel strongly about this, for whatever it's worth, that bipolar disorder didn't just hurt James Carr. It robbed this music of what might have been one of the greatest catalogs ever made. We got the window years. We should have gotten decades. Number 7, Paul Williams, The Temptations. Paul Williams was one of the 5 men who built The Temptations. And not just built, he choreographed the entire Motown era.
I can tell by the way you carry yourself and how you listen.
The iconic move Diana Ross and the Supremes made famous in Stop in the Name of Love. Paul Williams taught them that. He was considered the best dancer in the entire Motown stable, and he sang lead on some of the group's most defining early recordings. Without Paul Williams, without what he contributed and what he built, the Temptations do not look and sound the way they did during the years that made them legends. He also had sickle cell anemia. He was drinking to manage the pain, not recklessly, but because the touring schedule left no other option. 2-3 shows a week. No medical management of his condition, just perform. By 1969, he was in serious physical and emotional decline. And here is what Motown did about it. They had another singer, Richard Street, travel with the group and sing Paul's parts from behind a curtain backstage while Paul stood on stage in front of the audience. The crowd watched Paul Williams. They heard Richard Street, and nobody told Paul this arrangement was becoming permanent. When he finally left the group in 1971, Motown kept him on a 1/5 share of earnings as a nominal advisor, a gesture of support that also prevented him from signing elsewhere.
Keep on walking and don't
He began building a solo career in 1973. His first single was titled Feel Like Giving Up. Motown shelved it because the title hit too close to home after what happened next. On August 17, 1973, Paul Williams was found in a car in a Detroit alley. He was 34 years old. The coroner ruled it a suicide. His bandmates confirmed he had been expressing suicidal thoughts for months. The single sat in a vault for decades. The man who built the Temptations movements got a curtain and a shelf. Number 6, Florence Ballard. Florence Ballard named the Supremes. That's where this story has to start. Before Motown polished the group into its definitive form, before Diana Ross became the singular face of everything, Florence Ballard was the one who gathered those women together. She recruited Mary Wilson. She chose the name. She was one of the founding voices of one of the most successful acts in popular music history, and in 1967, Berry Gordy had her removed. The group was renamed Diana Ross and the Supremes. Cindy Birdsong replaced her, and Florence was handed a settlement, given contractual restrictions on where and with whom she could record, and shown the door. Here is what most people don't know about what followed. By 1969, the settlement money was essentially gone. Her management had been disastrous with her finances. Her solo career generated no meaningful traction. She sued Motown for $8.7 million. The suit was ultimately not decided in her favor. And by the early 1970s, Florence Ballard, a woman whose voice had been on some of the best-selling R&B records in history, was on welfare, government assistance, 3 daughters, no income. She died of cardiac arrest on February 22, 1976. She was 32 years old. Her family could not afford a cemetery plot. One was donated, and if you've ever known what it feels like to be the person who built something from nothing, one of the original hands, one of the original voices, and then watch someone else become the face of what you created while you slowly disappeared. Florence Ballard's story is going to sit in a different place in your chest than it used to. We know the Supremes, we know the dresses and the choreography and the Ed Sullivan appearances and the hits. Not everyone knows the woman who made it possible. Number 5, D'Angelo. In January of 2000, D'Angelo released Voodoo. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. It won 2 Grammys. And the video for Untitled, How Does It Feel, filmed in a way that was intentionally, deliberately intimate, became one of the most discussed music videos of its era. And the world responded by consuming him. Not his music, him. Fans grabbed him at concerts, reached for his body in ways that would have been recognized as assault in any other context. The conversation about an album of extraordinary musical ambition became a conversation about his physique. His identity as a deeply serious, classically trained artist, a man who had devoted his career to the full breadth of black musical history, collapsed entirely into an image. And D'Angelo, a profoundly private person, had no framework for surviving what that felt like. He developed agoraphobia. He stopped being able to leave the house for extended periods. In later interviews, he said he couldn't locate who he was underneath what the world had decided he was. He began gaining weight intentionally, what those around him have described as an effort to make himself less consumable, to become something the world would stop reaching for. He was arrested in 2005. He disappeared from the music he was born to make for 14 years. When Black Messiah was released in December 2014, the critical response was something close to collective relief. He was back. The music was, if anything, more fully realized than before. And then, on October 14th, 2025, D'Angelo died of pancreatic cancer. Won't you come closer? He was 51. The mental health crisis didn't end his story. It stole 14 years of it. Only if you want me to. Tell me where you want it, baby. 14 years of music that should exist and doesn't, and the world that nearly consumed him never fully reckoned with what it cost. Number 4, Mary J. Blige. She called herself the queen of hip-hop soul. And if you were anywhere near this music in the 1990s, you know that title wasn't self-appointed. It was earned by showing up, album after album, with a level of emotional honesty that made most other R&B records feel rehearsed by comparison. Mary J. Blige didn't perform pain. She reported it. And she has said across multiple interviews over multiple decades that there were periods when she did not want to be here. That she was drinking to get through the day, that she was in relationships and circumstances that were working against her survival, and that she was, to varying degrees, helping them along. I don't wanna cry no more. No more pain, no more pain. She has described looking in the mirror during those years and not recognizing what was looking back. Think about the chronology. What's the 411? In 1992, My Life in 1994, Share My World in 1997, No More Drama in 2001. That is not just a discography. That is a woman building a real-time record of her own survival and releasing it to an audience that was going through the same things and had no words for any of it. She gave them the words, she gave them permission to be exactly where they were, and here's what gets me about her story. The music became the reason to stay. Making it, completing it, watching it reach people who needed it. That became the argument for being alive, which is extraordinary, and which also should not have been the only argument available to her. Go through ups and downs, going all the time. She's still here, still recording, still telling the truth in a way that costs her something every time she does it. And some of y'all know exactly what that catalog meant to you at your lowest point. 'Cause I can guarantee that I'll be fine. Drop something in the comments, I want to know. She's still here, and that is not a small thing. Number 3, Marvin Gaye. You know the music, what's going on, let's get it on. I heard it through the grapevine, sexual healing, you know the voice. And you probably know the broad outline of how it ended. Shot by his father, the day before his 45th birthday, April 1st, 1984. But here's what tends to get left out of most tellings. In the years leading up to that day, Marvin Gaye had expressed, to people around him, in ways documented after his death, that he no longer wanted to be here. He was deep into cocaine addiction. He had retreated for an extended period into a tour bus parked in his parents' driveway in Los Angeles. He told people close to him he wanted to die. He described his life as something he was waiting to have over, and here's the detail that stops me every time. The gun that Marvin Gaye Sr. used to shoot his son was a gun Marvin had given his father. That's documented. What Marvin understood, consciously or not, about giving that particular weapon to that particular man, we don't know.
Maybe nothing. But a man in extraordinary pain had placed the means of his own destruction in the hands of the person most likely to act on it. He was 44 years old. His final album was called Midnight Love. His final recorded hit was Sexual Healing. And in between the music and the darkness, there was a man who had been drowning for years and had stopped looking for the surface. Nobody in the industry around him had a framework for what Marvin Gaye was going through, and the cocaine was the only thing keeping the noise quiet. He deserved better than what was waiting. Number 2, Donny Hathaway.
I've acted out my life in stages.
Rolling Stone called Donny Hathaway a soul legend. That phrase gets used a lot. With Donny Hathaway, it is genuinely not enough.
Can't you see?
He studied music formally at Howard University on a scholarship. He was producing and arranging for Aretha Franklin and the Staple Singers before he turned 25.
Came out in front when I was hiding.
As a live performer, he had developed something that almost no artist in any era achieves: the capacity to make a room full of thousands feel like he was singing directly and only to each one of them. His 1972 live album is still discussed as one of the greatest live recordings in any genre. This Christmas is a permanent fixture of the American holiday soundtrack.
I've sung a lot of songs.
A Song for You is one of the most covered compositions in music history. His duets with Roberta Flack, Where Is the Love, The Closer I Get to You, are part of the permanent vocabulary of R&B. And throughout all of it, he was battling paranoid schizophrenia. In the 1970s, mental illness in Black men was both misunderstood and chronically undertreated.
I treated you.
There is scholarship now suggesting that the diagnosis of schizophrenia during this era was applied with significant racial bias, that Black men in psychological distress were disproportionately receiving that specific label regardless of what was actually happening. What we know for certain is that Donny Hathaway was in serious, sustained pain, hospitalized multiple times, and at one point taking 14 medications daily. The industry around him kept recording him anyway.
Listen to the melody.
On January 13, 1979, he was at a session with Roberta Flack, working on what was supposed to be a reunion album.
We're watching.
He began acting erratically, expressing paranoid fears that the people in the room were stealing his music and his sound. The session was ended early. He returned to his room on the 15th floor of the Essex House Hotel in New York City. The window glass had been carefully removed. The door was locked from the inside. There were no signs of a struggle. He was 33 years old. Someday we'll all be free. The song Donny wrote and recorded as a document of his own longing has been played at funerals and marches and moments of collective grief for over 4 decades.
I've acted out my life in stages.
The song was about hope. The man who needed it most ran out of time before it fully arrived.
Is what I hope to be.
Number 1. Phyllis Hyman. On the afternoon of June 30th, 1995, Phyllis Hyman's assistant found her unconscious in her New York City apartment. She was scheduled to perform at the Apollo Theater that night. Her final studio album, released 5 months after her death, posthumously, was called I Refuse to Be Lonely. And the note she left said 2 words, repeated, I'm tired, and then, those of you that I love know who you are. May God bless you. Stay with me on this for a minute, because what happened to Phyllis Hyman is not simply a tragedy. It is something more specific than that. It is an indictment. She had a voice that spanned 4 octaves. She stood 6 feet tall on stage and filled rooms that were too small for her.
Like a haunting melody came inside.
Her cover of Betcha by Golly Wow with Norman Connors launched her career in 1976. The 15 years that followed built a catalog. You Know How to Love Me, Living All Alone, Don't Want to Change the World, which became her first #1 R&B hit in 1991, that earned her deep, devoted love from people who understood what they were hearing. She performed on Broadway in Sophisticated Ladies, the Duke Ellington Tribute Revue. She was Tony nominated. She won a Theatre World Award. She was brilliant in ways that didn't fit neatly into any format the industry wanted to sell. And she spent most of her career fighting the labels that were supposed to support her. Arista Records pushed her toward a mainstream pop sound she didn't want and didn't fit. When the relationship deteriorated, she was contractually prevented from recording elsewhere, but Arista also wasn't recording her. The album that should have followed her 1991 gold record was held in what has been described as a cost negotiation dispute that stretched for years. That delay reportedly cost her emotionally and financially at the same moment her mother and grandmother both died within a month of each other in 1993. And through all of it, the bipolar disorder she managed throughout her adult life was getting harder to manage. The alcohol was getting louder. The loneliness she sang about so plainly that audiences assumed she was performing fiction was her telling the only truth she had access to. She was 45 years old. She was scheduled to perform that night. I think sometimes about the version of Phyllis Hyman's life where the label does right by her. where the album comes out when it should, and someone looks at a woman fighting bipolar disorder and creative suffocation and financial pressure at the same time, and responds with something other than a contract dispute. That version exists in a world where somebody in that building cared more about her than about the negotiation. We got the music she was able to make in the conditions she was actually given, and it is brilliant, and it should have kept going.